Good afternoon everyone, I'm Mr. David R Beron of San Teodoro District, Division of Oriental Mindoro, and I will presenting philosophy of existentialism. Existentialism is a way of philosophizing that may lead those who adopt it to a different conviction about the world and man's life in it. It is mainly a European philosophy that originated before the turn of the 20th century but became popular after World War II. The seeds of existentialism may be traced back to an earlier period of the history of philosophy. What is existentialism? A philosophical theory that or approach which emphasizes the existence of the individual person as a free and responsible agent determining their own development through acts of the will. Existentialism is the philosophical belief we are each responsible for creating purpose of meaning in our own lives. Our individual purpose and meaning is not given to us by God, governments, teachers, or other authorities. Modern philosophical view which take the Tao as its starting point. Every individual is unique, it is subjective, it is principally a contemporary or modern philosophy. Educational philosophy of existentialism. Existentialists believe that every individual is unique, therefore the objective of education is to enable every individual to develop his unique qualities. In the field of education, the contribution of existentialism is as follows. The aim of education, total development, the subjective knowledge, importance of environment, child-centered education, the curriculum, learning experiences, the teacher, the students, religious and moral education. In the field of education, existentialists believe that the most important kind of knowledge is about the human condition and the choices that each person has to make, and that education is a process of developing consciousness about the freedom to choose and the meaning of responsibility for one's choices. Another is the total development. The existentialists have aimed at the total development of personality through education. Education should aim at the whole man. Subjective knowledge. The existentialists rightly point out that the subjective knowledge is even more important than objective knowledge. There is importance of environment. The present industrial, economic, and political and social environment is valueless. Therefore, it helps confusion and corruption, tensions, and conflicts. Child-centered education. Existentialist education is a child-centered. It gives full freedom to the child. The teacher should help the child to know himself and recognizes his being. Individuals are responsible on determining for themselves what is true or false, right or wrong. Another is the curriculum. Existentialists refer to free learners to choose what to study and also determine what is true and by what criteria to determine these truths. The curriculum would avoid systematic knowledge or structured discipline, and the student would be free to select from many available learning situations. The primary aims of the curriculum is to help learners develop their own values and to understand themselves within their own cultural context. Another is the learning experiences. An existentialist curriculum would consist of experiences and subjects that lend themselves to the philosophical dialogue and acts of choice making. Religious and moral education. The existentialists particularly lay emphasis upon religious and moral education. Religious allow a person to develop himself. Religious education give him an understanding on his existence in the cosmos. It shows the religious path of his self-realization. Another is the teacher. According to the existentialist, the teacher creates an educational situation in which the student may establish contact with himself, become conscious on it, and achieve self-realization. It provides an avenue for the student for self-directed learning. The role of a teacher is to draw out the personal definition of the student to aid them in creating their own choices. The student should feel completely free for realizing his self under the guidance of the teacher. The student should try to realize his self through introversion. Existentialists lead to self-reliance and self-directed, which is the important aspect of the new methodology of learning. Philosopher of existentialism: Friedrich Wilhelm Nietzsche, Soren Kierkegaard, Martin Buber, Martin Heidegger, Jean-Paul Sartre, Maxim Greene. Friedrich Nietzsche contribution to the existentialism was the idea that a man must accept that they are part of the material world, regardless of what else might exist. Nietzsche influenced the idea of individualism. He thought traditional morality weakened people, smothering their individuality. His philosophy centered around the idea of life affirmation, question all of that which drain life energies, no matter how popular those beliefs. Nietzsche used the phrase to express his ideas that the Enlightenment had eliminated the possibility of the existence of God. God is dead, or death of God theology have used the phrase in the literal sense, meaning that the Christian God, who had existed at one point, has ceased to exist. Soren Kierkegaard, the first existentialist philosopher, he proposed that each individual, not society or religion, is solely responsible for giving meaning to life and living it passionately and sincerely. He should take the leap, faith, and their belief of God even though there is no fruit. People should make their own choices and be held completely responsible. Education should be subjective and religious, devoted to the developing individuality and the individual's relationship with God. Oppose vocational and technical schools because they are too objective. Even believe that the objectivity of the science leads people away from their Christian beliefs, becoming more growth-centered. Jean-Paul Sartre, best-known leading philosopher of existentialism, student of Heidegger in the 1930s, atheist, being and nothing less, being for itself, consciousness of man, being in itself, objective of consciousness. Existence precedes essence, that is the only by existing and acting a certain way do we give meaning to our lives. Man is condemned to be free because we did not create ourselves. Everything we do is a result of being free because of we have choice. Thank you, God bless, and keep safe everyone.